Hi, Cooper's Cogitations. After the people left Sinai, their first civil commandment was to clean out the promised land. These people had all the sins you can possibly imagine, and they even had more. And so God says it's your land. It was promised to your progenitors. Clean it out. The first civil commandment was drive everyone out. Joshua cleaned up 31 kings plus some. He died. After he died, the Israelites cleaned up some, but after a while, they got tired. This is what happened. But the Benjaminites, to whom belonged Jerusalem, permitted its inhabitants to pay tribute. Here you go. You're cleaning up the land. The people in the land had three options, or the Israelites had three options. The people knew they were coming. They fortified their cities. They took in food storage and water and medical supplies and a plethora of armaments. A frontal attack is expensive on the human cost. The Israelites forgot that God's been helping them through all these battles. He would help them clean up Israel. Two, a siege was long and costly in time and money. They had to get back to their families, their homes, their farms, their businesses. They had work to do. Three, forget the commandment, put them under tribute. You make money, you go back to your families, your farms, and your ranches, and your businesses, and you make money and you get rich. What are you going to do for money? See, that's what they did in Egypt, and they became slaves for money. Now, they give up the commandments of God for money. Think about this. All right. So they put them under tribute. Said they all left off, the one to kill, the other to expose themselves to danger, and had no time and had time to cultivate the ground. The rest of the tribes imitated that of Benjamin and did the same, and contenting themselves with the tributes that were paid them, permitted the Canaanites to live in peace. After this, the Israelites grew effeminate as to fighting any more against their enemies, but applied themselves to the cultivation of the land, which producing them great plenty and riches. They neglected the regular disposition lost my place of their settlement, and indulged themselves in luxuries and pleasures, nor were they any longer careful to hear the laws that belonged to the political government. Folks, that's Josephus. Antiquities of the Jews. They fell off. They started to ignore their civil government. But the Israelites yet were still unwilling to go to war, and since they got large tributes from the Canaanites, were indisposed for taking pains by their luxury, they suffered their aristocracy to be corrupted. Whoa, also, and did not ordain themselves a senate or any other such magistrate as their laws had formerly required. The Israelites grew so indolent and unready of taking pains for their self-government that misfortunes came heavier upon them, which also proceeded in part from their contempt for the divine worship. For when they had once fallen off from the regularity of their political government, they indulged themselves further in living according to their own pleasure and according to their own will, till they were full of the evil doings that were common among the Canaanites. First, they stopped paying attention to their civil laws, the Constitution. And then they stopped paying attention to people who were elected. They didn't vet the candidates. They didn't look at their voting records. They became lazy when it came to political things. They forgot that politics and religion are one and the same. People don't know that. They want to separate the two. They are not wise. They don't understand politics. They don't understand religion. This is what Rousseau's John Rushdoony, one of my intellectual luminary heroes, has to say about this. He says, law in every culture is religious in origin because law governs man and society, because it establishes and declares the meaning of justice and righteousness. Wait a minute, you can't legislate morality. No, that's exactly what law does. It says what's right and wrong, what's good and bad. If it's bad, we're going to punish you, or they used to get punished. If it's good, we don't reward you. Not a reward you if you're bad. Okay? Law is inescapably religious in that it established in practical fashion the ultimate concerns of a culture. Van Til says culture is religion externalized. Our culture is religion externalized. Yes, we've left off the worship of Christ. We now worship Asheroth, fertility, sex anytime. We worship Moloch, the killing of unborn babies. Yeah, Bacchanalia, party. Okay? We worship hedonism, the pleasure of the senses. We worship narcissism. It is I am the one. Look at me. We are pagans in our government. Accordingly, a fundamental necessary premise is any and every study of law must be first recognition of its religious nature. Okay? This illuminates what was said at the Peace of Augsburg in September 1555, which legalized a principle well established in practice. Cuius regim ius religio. My Latin's not cool. Meaning the rule of the land determines the religion of the land. When the ruler of the Israelites was God, their religion was godly religion, biblical. When it changed, when their religion changed, guess what? They changed too. And they became pagans and worshippers of Asheroth, Baal, Moloch. And they fell into slavery. And they stayed into slavery until they repented and they cried unto God about their bondage, and God sent a prophet, a judge, to free them. And the judge rose up, led them to war, and freed them. What is it going to take to make people read the Constitution? I've talked about it for 40 years. I've talked about it for 40 years. I don't think any of my family reads the Constitution. Now, many of the family have come in my direction, and 4 of them have said, we understand what you're now saying. They said that 2 years ago. So, yes, but here's the deal. You keep the commandments, you defend the gospel, including the Constitution, and once you defend it, dude, you can love people. They don't have to accept it. You told them it's between them and God. Love them. Invite them into your home. Okay, but remember, me and my house, we will serve the Lord. You can come into my home, but if you have a boyfriend, girlfriend, you're not staying overnight. You're not bringing drugs or alcohol or tobacco into my home. See what I'm saying? This is, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Hey, thank you very much.